A small stone was found in a South African cave. If you look close, it seems to have a face, but there's no real face carved into it. No one shaped the stone by hand, but someone long ago picked it up and carried it for 10 kilometers. They kept it because those marks looked like eyes and a mouth. This Makapanskat pebble is almost 3 million years old. To the person who kept it, it was never just a rock. It was like the thrill you get when you spot a dog in a passing cloud, or notice your morning toast looks like it's smiling. The world feels strange and new for a second, like something bigger is watching. People still get that same spark today, seeing faces in a campfire or in a bunch of leaves. We find meaning even when things are random. This isn't just a neat trick, there's more underneath. The same skills that helped early humans make tools. Seeing patterns in rocks, finding the right shapes, guessing where a stone might crack, made us notice hidden shapes and reasons everywhere. That stone didn't only look alive. It helped us look for faces, and maybe, in time, for gods too. Breaking rocks isn't just mindless smashing. When you shape stone, you have to pay close attention to what the rock does and how it feels. Every hit matters and has to be planned. You try to find the best angle, the right spot where a flake will break off the way you want. There's a place called the platform where your hit will travel through the rock, not just break it apart. People who make stone tools look at old marks, chunks, lines, ripples that came from earlier hits to read what happened before. Their eyes check the scars, but their ears listen too. A good rock rings out when you hit it. Bad rock sounds dull and snaps apart. For toolmakers, these marks are like a diary. The rock shows every time something went right or wrong. With each piece they knock off, nappers learn to notice tiny changes. They get better at telling where to hit next, guessing what the inside of the rock looks like from tiny clues on the outside. They don't just see these details once. They practice over and over, getting better every time a good pattern makes a sharp edge. Napping helps people spot and trust order in something that first seems messy. Early humans didn't just hit rocks to get sharp pieces. They wanted tools that had careful shapes, with edges that matched and looked nice. Acheulean hand axes, some made more than 1.5 million years ago, weren't just rough jobs. They have two sides that look like mirror images, almost like your left and right hands. This way of making axes didn't stick to only one place or a short time. For thousands of years, people in Africa and Europe followed the same pattern, making axes that were more regular than they really needed to be. Yes, symmetry helps you hold and use the tool, but these axes look even more exact, almost on purpose. To make one, the toolmaker didn't just hit off random pieces. They knew the shape they wanted before they started and aimed for a straight line down the center. The right shape began in their mind and took shape chip by chip as they worked. Every careful strike showed their plan and left a mark that we can still see today. Our eyes look for symmetry, and not because we love art. In nature, seeing something with matching halves makes us think of a living thing. Faces, animals, wings, and paws usually have this mirror look. We want to find that order because it means something is alive, healthy, or meant to be there. If you see just two dots, a line underneath, and a round shape, your brain jumps to spot a face. The feeling is strong, it grabs your attention and stirs up feelings. Seeing symmetry doesn't just look nice. It feels important, and sometimes almost like the pattern could notice you back. The same part of your brain that finds clean lines for using tools is also quick to spot eyes on a tree or small sounds in the wind. When you focus hard on a stone, trying to guess what it will do next starts to feel a bit like guessing what a person will do. The hyperactive agency detection device, or HADD, is the idea that explains why sometimes you feel like someone else is in the room when you know you're alone. Our minds learned, over millions of years, to play it safe. It's better to panic at a shadow than miss a real danger. Napping gives you that habit too. Every time you strike a rock, you try to guess how it will react. You have to figure out what will happen and guess what to do next. After a while, this guessing becomes automatic. A shape in the grass, scratch marks, patterns that almost seem familiar, all start to feel like they mean something, not just empty shapes. Stones that are shaped and hit over and over teach you to look for purpose, to find secrets in every sign of order you see. Modern science lets us peek inside these old habits. When toolmakers use tools, brain scans show more than just the motor areas light up. The frontoparietal network works on layered plans, the same brain circuits you use when building a sentence or deciding what to do in busy traffic. This kind of planning even touches how people spot patterns. Skilled nappers show brain activity in spots linked to action grammar. That means the brain works on more than just swinging a tool. It helps read what happened before and guess what comes next. If you teach someone new and look at their brain again later, you see their brain patterns change. The networks now focus on picking out important shapes. When people see faces in tree bark or clouds, real or not, the fusiform face area switches on. That's the part of the brain meant for seeing eyes, noses, and mouths. If a rock's lines are just right, this area lights up even more, and the face seems totally clear. Years of practice teach the brain to spot meaning sooner, so a mark on a stone or a bend in a cloud can sometimes feel just as strong as a real face. Some of the first things early people saved weren't tools. They were just interesting finds that made people stop and look. The Makapansgat pebble is the famous one, but there are others. At Barakat Ram, people found a piece of volcanic rock with grooves that make it look a bit like a simple figure. Maybe someone shaped it, or maybe someone just noticed it already looked special and kept it. The Tantan object is similar. It's hardly changed from a normal stone, but it almost looks like something real. No one knows for sure if these count as art, but they are choices. Someone picked out one stone from many because the shape seemed to mean something. Once someone sees a picture or shape in a rock, they can show it to others, carry it around, maybe even treat it as important. People's brains, used to watching closely because of tools, start to find meaning in things that just happen by luck. Stone tools teach more than just how to see. Skilled knappers also listen before they hit a rock. If flint rings out sharp and clear, that's a good sign. If you hear a flat, dull sound, you know something's wrong. We use sound to find patterns everywhere. Hunter-gatherers learn to tell the wind in the trees from the footsteps of a hidden animal by tiny changes in sound. Listening, just like seeing, depends on what you expect. When a hunter hears leaves moving softly or sees a shadow in the dark, their brain must decide quickly, was that just the wind, or does something else start here? Auditory pareidolia, like hearing voices in radio static or hidden words in backwards music, shows how the mind turns odd noises into something alive. Sight and sound both teach us to find patterns, even when nothing real is there. The math here is easy. If you see a face in a rock and get it wrong, you only lose a quick thought. But if you miss a real snake, an enemy, or someone watching, you could lose your life. So evolution makes sure it's safer to jump at 100 fake threats than to miss the real one. That means our brains are built to notice things, even if we're not sure. Every time a guess turns out right, a flake splits just how you want, or a real growl comes through the wind, your brain lowers the bar for spotting trouble. Over time, people get wired to react at every sign that something might be there. These same brain habits make invisible gods, signs, and spirits feel real, or even obvious. The skills we use for survival get mixed into how people sense religion and tell stories. This isn't something from the past, this happens every day. Look at a moony face, or watch a little kid laugh because an outlet looks like it's smiling. Your brain grabs onto it right away. When you look up, the clouds quickly start to look like horses running. Sounds can fool you too. If someone tells you to listen for the name Yanni or Laurel in a noisy recording, your mind makes the word fit what you're told to expect. Now, think about how practice changes what you notice. Radiologists spot tumors other people miss, but sometimes they see them where there aren't any. Artists notice shapes in scribbles. Birdwatchers hear tiny hints of calls. And when you work at something for hours, you get better at noticing tiny clues. But when you get sharper, you also mess up more often. That's just how brains work. The habit that once made people see faces in rocks now makes you spot faces in cars or hear words in static. Your brain runs at full speed, eager to find meaning, always learning from every guess. Every time your mind jumps to find a shape in a mess, it's still doing what early humans did when they made the first tools. Of course, the hand axe isn't a magic key to understanding ancient beliefs. The even shape of those old blades could have made them easier to hold, simpler to cut with, or maybe even useful for showing off or tricking others around the fire. Some archaeologists say the shape was just practical. Stone splits more easily in a straight line, not because our ancestors thought it was pretty, but because that's how rocks break. Others think the blade was like old-time social media, a way for people to compete for skill and show who was best. But jumping from making tools to worshiping gods? Experts are still arguing about that. There's no research saying tool-making alone made people believe in spirits. Things like language, teamwork, and learning to control fire grew at the same time. These things shaped each other, one didn't cause all the rest. But we do know this, when you practice looking for clues in the world, it changes what you expect to find. Each time someone turned a messy piece of stone into a sharp blade, their mind leaned a little more toward seeing patterns and signs everywhere. Over thousands of generations, this made people better at spotting meaning, until one day, someone thought they saw a face or a spirit looking back from the stone. So this is how the Acheulean hand axe fits into your life. The way people used to spot intention in the chips and cracks of old tools is the same way we now spot feelings in strangers, pick out motives in computer programs, or see faces in smudges on a window. Our brains look for small clues everywhere, and sometimes we get things right, but sometimes we make wild guesses. This isn't some old mistake we can forget, it's the real price of needing meaning. When you notice how you're always looking for signs and reasons, like seeing a reason behind every noise or meeting, it does something big. You still feel wonder, but you're not fooled so easily. And you see people who believe, now and long ago, not as fools, but as people like you. We're a kind of animal that shaped rocks until it felt like the world was looking back, and now we still find our own made-up spirits everywhere.